Is that better?
Much.
Okay.
Very good. All right. So, first of all, thanks for being available to do this kind of follow-up here.
Yeah.
You saw the piece last night. So before we get into the specifics, any other things that after you looked at it, you had thoughts about it, or?
Well, most of it is related to the autopsy report after I got to read through it.
Yeah, all right. So let's get into that then. So initially, Commander Hornick had said to me, he said, there was a break to the hyoid bone. And, we came to you to say, what's the hyoid? What causes a break? You got a closer look now at the original autopsy report, and that's kind of given you a better, idea as to what may have taken place.
Yes. So when I read the autopsy report, we'll start with the hyoid bone because there were a couple of other things that I found interesting in it. So with the hyoid bone, the report said, quoting, that the hyoid bone was completely destroyed. And so based on other autopsy reports and things that I've read and been part of, that means that it wasn't there. Normally today we would say it was missing. You would do an inventory sheet and have it actually marked that the hyoid bone was missing, because we don't know if it was completely destroyed. Saying that, it just means that it wasn't there and they weren't able to find it, which makes sense because there was a lot of damage to the neck and a lot of structures were just gone. And there was a lot of animal activity to the body. So it kind of makes sense that that whole area was missing. So
that's not to be too gruesome, not to be gruesome, but we talk about animal activity. We talk about that missing. I mean, are we saying that we think an animal came along and may have removed like an entire section of this man's neck at some point?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of soft tissue muscle in the neck. And then also it opens up into the organs. So we know that a lot of the organs were missing too, not just from decomposition, but between that. And then also it talked about some animal marks on the bones. It wasn't very specific, but because of that, it also leads me to believe that that's why the throat was kind of like most of the soft tissue stuff was missing.
Gotcha.
And that would include the hyoid bone.
And so we talked about how, I'm going to apologize. My headset just told me battery low. My headset's disconnected. So I think it's switching over to my regular laptop audio. So my apologies on that. But so looking at what we had heard before, that, there was the possibility, if there was a broken hyoid, that there could have been foul play. It sounds like this missing still doesn't completely rule out that possibility.
No, you can't rule it out completely because of the rest of the body. So while there weren't fractures to any of the other skeletal elements, there are some interesting things that I read about damage more to the left side of the body than to the right. So decomposition, it affected the left side more than the right. The right tended to be mummified, meaning that things hadn't been really kind of chewing on it or taking like the arm out of the clothing and ripping the clothes and stuff like that. But on the left side, there were a lot of tears in the pants, and I think there was a tear in the shirt or the blazer, a jacket thing that he was wearing. And so that's interesting because if I look at the crime scene sketch, it looked like every part of him was exposed, but we also don't know. He was there for most of the winter, so he could have been leaning a different way, and then when animals came in, they moved him. But the left side has more damage than the right, so the possibility of it being exposed more or having more animal damage or animal activity on that side is definitely that's a possibility. But it could also be that there was trauma to that side, and that's also why it experienced more decomposition and that kind of thing.
So it's sort of one element of what you were able to discover through the autopsy report would lead you to believe, well, maybe foul play wasn't involved, but then you look at other elements and say, oh, well, so we're kind of back to square one, thinking it's still as possible as it might have been before.
Yes. So no fractures or damage to the bones other than, regular decomp and animal activity, but there's a lack of soft tissue, and because there's no damage to the bone doesn't mean that there's no foul play, that this isn't a homicide. So that's why they ruled it undetermined, because we really don't know.
Yeah. All right. So, and I think what people need to take away from this is still a 40-year-old mystery. Hopefully somebody somewhere will see something and maybe know who this person is or have an idea, because, you know, nobody's an island. Someone somewhere is still wondering what happened to this person.
Exactly.
And we'll hope that we can reach that. Thank you so much for your help and your input, your insight. I know Commander Hornick said that you have been a great resource for him to work with and to get information from. So I'm sure this will not be our last time working together.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Listen, thank you so much again. And I think we made it for your next meeting.
Oh, yep. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mercedes.
Have
I
a good
appreciate
one.
it. All right, you too. Bye-bye.